Okay, this is a little different, isn't it? Welcome to the new studio. Well, the new studio as it is at the moment. If you saw my Instagram reel a couple of days ago, I did a little bit of a tour, walking you around the place, talked about the new desk, the new pedal shelves and things like that. But I just wanted to jump on camera properly and try out a few different camera angles, try out a few different lighting setups, and just see how it goes. I also have a completely blank pedal board that needs populating, needs building. So that's what we're going to do today. We're going to pick a few pedals and build a new pedal board. So first things first, when building a new pedal board, is you need to pick the pedals that are going on it. So let's go over to those pedal shelves and pick out a few choice pedals. Okay, so pedals. I'm really happy with how these pedal shelves are looking. Before, you know, I think the pedal shelves in the last studio were kind of contributing to that feel of being a bit cluttered. I wanted to be able to lay these out and have them look as good as they do. So let's pick a few pedals. A few essentials that I really want to put back on the board that haven't been on a board for a long time. The Cogmeister. Yeah, I love this pedal. This has got to go back on the board. What else are we thinking? Delay Llama Extreme from Jam Pedals. Probably my favorite analog delay. Not as feature rich as the Boss 101, but there's just something about the character of this that I kind of prefer, to be honest. Benson Germanium preamp. I love this pedal, great for boosts, great for stacking with other drives actually. Gonna put a reverb pedal on the board. We're gonna put the Crazy Tube Circuits Mirage. Tried that out recently. Actually really dug a couple of the sounds in there. Okay, what are we thinking? What are we thinking? Let's go something weird. I've got my Chaseless pedals up here. Normally I'd reach for something like the Mood, but I'm actually thinking I'm gonna put the Onward on this board. I like the Onward because it sits closer to the beginning of your signal chain and it just interacts with the rest of your board differently to other Chaseless pedals. Okay, the next pedal I'm kind of stuck on because it's either gonna be the Brothers AM or the Protein V4. Both recent acquisitions for me. I kind of really did enjoy getting back with the Protein after a long time not playing it, but the Brothers AM is just as versatile, but in a smaller package. Let's put both on the floor and see what we decide. Tuner, let's just pick a trusty Polytune 3 this is, so it's got a buffer in it. Modulation, I'm not usually a massive user of modulation, but I've really been enjoying phasers at the moment, so having just a little modulation pedal and that being a phaser on the board, I've really been enjoying this Phase 95. I've made a decision as well, I'm gonna commit to putting the Protein on this board for now, so that can go back. Okay, we need fuzz. And for me, fuzz is very important, so I need a couple. I need something fuzz facey or tone bendery, so kind of more riff-based, something thick, and then I need an octave fuzz. And there's two options I could go here. I could have individual pedals for each of those sounds, or I could go with the Focus Fuzz Deluxe, which is both of those in one pedal. This might actually be a bit of a squeeze, but let's change camera angles again, go to the desk, and see if we can start to get a layout. I did actually mock up a layout in Pedal Playground first, which I often do. I often just do it for fun, actually. That's kind of sad to admit. I think we can get this all on here. It's a little tight in places, so, you know, a Pedal Playground and these sort of pedalboard layout websites are not 100% accurate. You kind of got to take it with a pinch of salt. I've had, you know, amazing layouts on the website and then it's just not come together quite as you'd hoped in real life. So we're gonna try this out. If it doesn't work, we'll go back to the drawing board. So I'm gonna give it a go. Okay, so it kind of does all fit. I'm gonna need to check that I can get cables in some of these tighter spaces. You could look at this and say that that's not a usable pedal board, but more often than not, I'm just playing at home, not even with shoes on, so I can get my toes, and as gross as it is, I can get my toes into some of these tighter places. Let's wire this up, see how it goes. Audio cable's done. And you know what? We fit it all on. I actually think this is gonna, sorry about the noise outside, they're laying the road, if you can hear it. Yeah, okay, so yeah, audio cable's done. And it fits on here. I think this is actually gonna be quite a usable layout. This is obviously a little bit cramped, but it's all on there. We've got my Cogmeister back on here, which I'm super excited to get to play again. Yeah, so this is really cool. Audio cables, by the way, are these Pedal Patch UK kits. I bought a few kits from him years back, and I've just been reusing them ever since. They've never let me down. I don't often cut them to size anymore because I cut them to size for the first pedal board, and then inevitably pedal boards change. In terms of doing audio before power, I tend to do audio first, just because then it allows me to lay the power cables underneath the board, sort of underneath and through all the audio cables in a sense. That negates the need most of the time for a load of cable ties underneath the board. Speaking of which, let's get to power. I'm just looking across here. Nothing here needs 18 volts. Nothing here really needs massive milliampage, apart from maybe the Chase Bliss and the Mirage. Everything else is pretty much standard, so I don't need to worry too much about power. So let's turn the board over and get going with that. By the way, the power supply is the matching mono power supply, which is actually really powerful. Each output is isolated and is 500 milliamps. So you can pretty much power any pedal with this power supply. The only thing I don't like about it is that it has an external transformer. You know, when you get that external block of the power supply, I personally prefer just plugging an IEC cable straight into this, which you can't do. Okay, power is done. And actually it looks pretty neat. And I managed to make it this neat without the use of any cable ties, just carefully placing audio through power and power through audio. Professionals will tell you that that's bad for your noise floor. I've always thought it's been fine. So in the real world, maybe it doesn't make too much of a difference. This is what it looks like finished on the top side. I will just say thank you to Thorpe for making me a barefoot button that just says arse on it. Don't know if you could see that. Thank you, Thorpe. I know he thinks very highly of me, clearly. Okay, it's looking good. It's looking good. New pedal boards. I'm excited for this. New pedal board for the new studio. I guess let's plug it in and get some tones. Oh, it's good to have the Cogmeister back on the board. That was the Cogmeister. Maybe I'll run you through the signal chain. So first of all, we're going into the Great Eastern Effects Focus Fuzz Deluxe. Cool, so I've got both flavours of fuzz there. After the Focus Fuzz, we go into the Polytune and then into the Onward, which I've not used for a while, so. And that's what that does. Cool, I'll experiment a bit more with that and get more familiar with it again. Then after the Onward, we're going into the Cogmeister, which you heard. Which, if you don't know, is like a really cool core overdrive in the middle, and then it's got two different boosts either side of that drive. So you've got a treble booster type thing in the front end, and then like a solo boost afterwards. After that, we're going into the Protein V4. Cool, dig that pedal. That's going to be more where I get my more classic vintage overdrive tones. And then we go into the Benson Germanium preamp. I love this pedal, it's so warm, and that's how I have it set, like a really warm, crunchy boost type thing at the end of the drive chain. And then from the Germanium preamp, we go into the Phase 95. So I have that set really slow, kind of classic. And then we go into my Delay Llama Extreme, which is usually just a slapback. So I've got a few other things going on as well, different presets. This pedal does weird stuff as well. And then finally into the Mirage, and I have no idea how these knobs are set. So let's just see what this gives us. So there you have it, the new pedal board, eh?